recording. A few months ago, I made a video that was sort of like a walkthrough with a drawing program I use called Procreate. It is a drawing app that I use on my iPad that I have been using for probably about a year and a half now to do all of my digital drawing. I am here to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of digital artwork as a media, because there are a lot of great things, but there's also a lot of disadvantages too. So if you're considering going into the digital art side and you're not sure if you should do it or not, it depends on your personality, your work environment, what you want to use digital media for, but all in all, I'm going to kind of share some things with you so you can get an idea on whether digital art is for you or not. I'm going to go through some of the advantages first, because digital media is my absolute favorite media to work with that I've ever tried, because of a lot of things that I like about it that I'm about to share. First of all, there's unlimited paper. By that, I mean you don't have to have physical tools when you do artwork. If you do a little sketch and you don't like it, you can just hit the delete button and move on. You don't waste anything except for a little bit of time, which, are you really wasting your time if you're drawing? You're practicing. The next thing is easy mixed media art. Because when you think about it, if you're doing something like an oil painting, it can take months to complete an oil painting. I've done it, and I don't have that kind of patience, because the oil paint takes so long to dry between layers. With digital media, it dries immediately, but at the same time it always stays wet, because you can always go back and smudge something you've done, erase it, paint over it, and it doesn't matter. So it can be dry or wet, depending on what you want it to be. That's another great thing, because watercolor dries so quickly, and it's hard to undo things, but with digital media, you can make a watercolor looking piece while erasing, undoing, and layering more easily. Another great advantage is it simulates expensive tools. I'm not saying necessarily that it can replace them, but I can do artwork that saves me a lot of time, because I can make a piece that looks like an oil painting without the expensive tools of the oil paints. And another thing is, I have a bird, and oil paint fumes are extremely poisonous to birds. I will never be able to paint in my house with oil paints because I have a bird. I did try oil painting before I got a bird, but it's just not for me anyways, so it wasn't a big deal for me. My point being, I can make digital media that looks like oil paintings however I want, and it won't kill my bird. The next great advantage, I'm going to go a little bit into the different tools that you can do in digital media that you can't with other mediums. Another great advantage is layers. You don't have that with any other art medium out there. I can sit there and I can do a watercolor sketch and then layer something on top of it without messing up anything I've done. I can do different layers, so I can do one section of a piece without affecting any other parts. Not only that, but it saves me so much time when I'd be trying to work around things and not mess up other parts of a piece if I only had one layer in traditional media. Another thing you don't have with traditional media is a selection tool. With this, you can trace out the outline of an object, select it, and then move that entire piece to something else on the canvas. And then you're left with a completely blank area to work with again. You can't do this, obviously, with drawings. Say I drew like a shoulder up drawing of a person, and it was perfect, but the head was too big to fit on the shoulders. I would have to erase the entire thing and start over, or start with the entire piece of paper again. Instead, with digital media, I can select the head, shrink it down a little bit to fit on the shoulders correctly, and it saves me so much time. On top of that, you don't have smudge marks from trying to erase pencil marks that you don't want anyone to see because you messed up. And that leads me into my next point, which is there's an undo button. I have gotten so used to using my iPad for drawing that when I try and do a traditional sketch and I mess up, I look for the undo button. I do. I'm so used to it. Now, although I love this media and it is my favorite, there are a few disadvantages, as there are with all things, so I'm going to go through some of those now. So the first disadvantage is, depending on what type of digital media you choose, it's not very portable. Granted, you can, like with myself and my iPad, I can move my iPad around places with me, but the last time I did that, I cracked the screen. And so, I mean, I don't like taking my iPad around places because I'm afraid I'm going to break it even more. And so, yeah, I personally don't like moving my iPad around, especially if you were on the professional level of a Cintiq, like a Wacom Cintiq 22 HD. You know, they're this big. You can't just throw that in your car and move around. It doesn't work that way. Granted, there are some smaller tablets. You could even get an iPad mini, but I don't recommend that for digital drawing because the screen's too small. And I even have a drawing app on my phone, but I rarely use it because it's so difficult. It's too small of a screen. So, on top of the fact that it's difficult to make it portable, if you do manage to make it portable, you have to consider the battery life. It doesn't last forever. Sure, there are some tablets out there that have really nice battery life and will last you a long time, but it's eventually going to die. There have been times where I had this great drawing idea I wanted to do, but my iPad died on me. And it's an older iPad. It takes a long time to charge. So I'd have to settle for traditional sketching, which I'm not very good at. Mainly because I don't have an undo button. Another thing is, no matter how hard tablet designers try, you can't really replace the feeling of traditional media. You'll never pick up a stylus and a tablet and feel like you're really drawing on a piece of paper. You can't really replace that. Another point is that the equipment can be really expensive. If you wanted to get into a high quality professional level someday of, say, a Wacom Cintiq 22 HD, those can cost a few $1,000s. If you wanted to go on the lower end of a smaller tablet, you could get like an Intuos Pro Wacom tablet for plugging it into a computer that may cost you $100 or $200, but then you'd also have to get a drawing program which may cost you another $100. So no matter what way you go, it's going to cost a bit of money. And that's kind of the startup cost, because when you think about it, after you do that, like I said before in the advantages, you don't have to pay for supplies continuously, so it is worth it in the long run. My last disadvantage point is there actually is no such thing as an original piece in digital media. This kind of sounds weird, but think about it this way. When somebody makes a painting, an acrylic, beautiful painting, let's just say Thomas Kincaid has this painting that he made, and then he gets it printed on the highest quality canvas. And so now he has a print copy of the original. He has this original painting, now he has a copy. So now he can go and print and go and sell the copies, but he still has the original. Now look at digital media. You have your tablet, you spend all this time on this awesome piece of artwork, but it's just a digital file. You can make prints of it, and then you can sell those prints, or just give them to family, or do whatever you want with those prints. But how do you choose out of those prints which one is the original? The answer is you don't. You are stuck with the original being a file on your tablet. So with that being said, there are some traditional artists that do not consider digital media to be a form of artwork. That is all subjective, because I have found that digital media is so helpful for me as an artist, but there are some people out there that don't consider it a media because you don't have an original piece. Don't let that stop you, because there is so much potential in digital media and so much things you can do with it and so much potential that I don't think anyone should hesitate to try it out for themselves. If you have a tablet, go and get a free app and just start drawing. If you want to spend a few dollars, get the drawing app Procreate. It is the best one out there for iPad tablets, and it is about $5 or $6. I don't know how much it is now from when I paid for it, because I think the price has gone up a little bit, but you should go check it out. Let me know what you guys think about the difference between digital media and traditional, and what you guys prefer. If you're an artist yourself, or if you're not an artist, let me know what you think of just what art you enjoy more. Do you enjoy more digital media or more traditional? So let me know in the comments below what you think. Also, if you aren't already and you'd like to be sure to join my pirate group by hitting subscribe right there down below. And I will see you guys next Friday.